Funny that it's Essendon player testing positive or something, isn't it?
Pull your finger out of your ass.
Jeez.
This is my first ever football jumper. My three votes, I should say. My three goats. My three votes for Charlie. Oh, top of the world, mate.
What a time to be alive.
I look a bit like Nickel Bellic from GTA 4, I feel, with this.
That could get dangerous.
Round 12 has been played. Lockdown still causing havoc in Melbourne and Victoria, and some of the footy on display has suffered because of it. But there were some good games over the weekend, and it was good to watch, especially that Dreamtime game. And your boys played well, and it was a good spectacle all in all, wasn't it?
It was a really good game all in all. Easy to say after a win as well, but geez, Richmond know how to win it dirty sometimes. We had a pretty comfortable lead and we let it slip at one point, and then we had to, fight our way back in front and ended up winning by a pretty good margin, which was impressive. But yeah, no, it was a good game all in all, and I think pretty successful Dreamtime up in WA.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked great, and even to have a sellout crowd, it was like 55, 60,000. It was unbelievable to see for two Victorian teams over there. Had like a finals feel to it. It was great. And for me personally, I think that game should be shared around, and I think it should be played in areas where there's a high Indigenous population, like Perth and Darwin last year as well. I think it should be in those areas and not just at the MCG every single season.
It wouldn't be a bad idea at all. I mean, obviously it gets traction. It's not going to, you're not going to lose much money. I know the MCG has obviously got the highest capacity. And at the end of the day, it's a business. So that's what the AFL thinks about. But yeah, definitely. I think those high Indigenous populated areas is a smart place to put it, because you're going to get sold-out crowds, and it's a special occasion for all of them, especially. So they'll flock to it. I know I was pretty adamant about having it back at the G as soon as, every year, just because it's, it's the home ground and all that, and that's where you want to play it. But I guess if it's both teams' home ground, so if you play it somewhere else, it's mutual for either side. So it doesn't really make a difference, does it?
No, not at all. And yeah, I loved it. I loved how good it was. Just with this, but the light show there as well. Like, I don't think the MCG can do that. So it was great. And what do you think of the game? I mean, Essendon gave you an absolute scare in that last quarter. They looked bloody good, and that's it. Essendon are a decent team, and as hard as it is to say, I don't even care anymore, to be honest. But yeah, as hard as it is to say, Essendon, they are looking pretty good, and they gave you a mighty scare in that last quarter.
It does pay me to say it as well. I mean, for most of the game, we had probably a 20-point lead, and every time we tried to break the game open a little bit, Essendon would kick another one or two and just, claw the game back a little bit and wouldn't let us break it apart. And then, we head into three-quarter time with 22 points up, and I'm thinking, all right, like, this is last quarters are our specialty. This is when we blow them out of the water. And in the first 5-10 minutes of that quarter, and they kicked 4 goals straight and hit the front, I'm thinking, oh, you're kidding. And when Essendon, I still believe, are a very momentum-based side, and when they get on a roll, it's hard to stop them. And I thought, this is it. We're going to lose. It's the first time in 7 years, I think it is, 10 matches. I was spewing, and then, the rest is history, I guess. 16 minutes later, we kicked the next 7 goals straight and, got a 39-point win. So I was stoked, to say the least. And Dusty and Shea Bolton just getting the job done when we needed them to.
Geez, those couple of goals Shea kicked in that last quarter were unbelievable, weren't they?
He just doesn't lose his balance. He's got such good feet and such good agility that there was that one, I'm sure you know the one I'm talking about, where he got the ball, sidestepped one bloke, nearly fell over, spun out of trouble, and on the opposite boot kicks it through. Like, it was, you don't see many players do that these days. And there's another reason why I'm really desperate for Richmond to sign Shea Bolton as soon as possible.
Yeah, for sure. He's, I mean, people were talking about him a few weeks ago saying, he shouldn't be on that much money or shouldn't be offered that much money. But geez, it just shows that he's still so young as well. He's got so much ahead of him. So I think he's going to be, commanding big money, and you got to keep him. You got to keep him, because other teams will benefit from that and will want to pay him that much too, won't they?
Oh, clubs will swoop for sure. And it wouldn't surprise me if either West Coast or Freo go after him, because he's a WA boy. So he was right at home at Optus Stadium, but he's got that ability as well. And I'm not comparing him to Dusty, but that Dustin Martin type ability where they know when it's an important moment, because there's been games this year where he's kicked the sealer 3 or 4 times already this year. And then again on the weekend, he, put the icing on the cake for us and steps up when the team really needs him to. So he's got that ability to break the game open and doesn't have to have too many touches to have a big impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Another player that was huge was, not a Richmond player, was Darcy Parish. He's having an unbelievable season, just racks up the footy. I think he broke the record for most disposals in a game for an Essendon player, and he's having. I mean, it's pretty obvious he's having a breakout season, but he's breaking out and taking his game to another level, and will probably be an All-Australian, and will probably win Essendon's best and fairest, and who knows about the Brownlow as well. So he's having an unbelievable season.
All of the above. I think all those awards are definitely a possibility for him, if not guaranteed. The Brownlow probably being the only one that's not. It was half time, and I'm pretty sure he had 26 disposals. And I'm thinking, geez. And I mean, good side to do it, not taking anything away from him, but good side to do it against as well, because Richmond don't tag notoriously. So no one was ever going to try to shut him down. But it's not even the amount of disposals, it's the influence he had with those disposals too. A lot of players, like, get some really high disposals. Tom Mitchell being one of them, he always gets some big high numbers. Jack McRae, and a lot of those tend to be 1-2 handballs, which still count, obviously. But I thought Parrish's influence on the game, on top of all those disposals, was incredible. I think it was score involvements, inside 50s, contested possessions, all of it. All the numbers were through the roof. So it was no surprise he won the Yayukin Award. Even though if you were watching the game, he looked a bit confused when they said his name. I don't think he I don't know if he didn't hear them or if he just wasn't thrilled to get the award after a loss. I'm not sure what it was, but did you see his reaction?
Yeah, they had to say it twice, didn't they?
Yeah, they said it twice. And even the second time, he just sort of stood there and his teammates are like, you're going to go get your award, mate?
Maybe it was, I mean, that probably shows he's disappointed about the loss and prefers the team win instead of the individual win, which is probably a good thing to see as an Essendon supporter. You'd love that. So, but no, he's fantastic. And Essendon have got a good young team. They've got a good team coming through. I'm very jealous of what they're doing at the moment in such a short amount of time. So, onwards and upwards for them. And credit where credit's due. We give them a lot of stick, but they're doing some good things.
Yeah, we do like to give Essendon a bit of stick here in the podcast, but you can't fault them at the moment. I think the biggest test for them now, they've always had some good performances against good sides, but I think the test for them now will be after the bye and see if they can continue it through the whole year. Having a young side, it is easy to fade away. So the real test now will be seeing if they can maintain that throughout the year. But from what I've seen, I think they'll be able to. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's move on to the Melbourne Footy Club. They look like they're the team to beat, and they are in unbelievable form, knocking off Brisbane, who had won 7 games in a row, and Melbourne, were too good for them on Friday night up at Giant Stadium.
You can't turn around now and say that these haven't beaten anybody, or they're the real deal. They're 100% the real deal. They've beaten every good side around them. They've had one loss, obviously, and it was against Adelaide, which was an outlier. That was obviously a once-off type thing, but they're incredible. And the way that they move the ball around the ground, and obviously blokes like Petrarca and Oliver are so hard to stop, but it's everybody on the list. They don't really have a weak link. And Cozzy Pickett was quiet early in the game, and you're thinking, oh, here we go, like someone, he's a bit overhyped. And then all of a sudden, he just takes 2 moments of footy and bang, he's turned the game around, but I think he's winning the whole time. But he just showed, why he's such a good player at such a young age.
Yeah, he's a freakish player. He could be an All-Australian small forward as well this year. He's can turn the game on its head. And another one he has been good, but he's sort of come out of nowhere as well this season. That's Tom McDonald, who also had a massive second half. He's in contention for All-Australian as well. And it was at the end of last year where Melbourne were looking to trade him away. And look what he's producing this season. So they are stacked all over the field, and they've got Jake Lever and Steve May, who are playing awesome down there. Nothing's getting past them, so they're going to be hard to beat, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And touching on Tom McDonald, he's playing so well at the moment that he's holding out Ben Brown. Like, Ben Brown's playing in the VFL because he can't get a game because Tom McDonald's in that good a form. So when I think Ben Brown's won a Coleman, if I'm not mistaken, or he got, I think he has anyway. So he's holding out a Coleman medalist, and he's so impressive with what he's been doing. Yeah,
absolutely. They're dominating everything. And Max Gawn, best ruckman in the comp as well, continuing his great form. And geez, they could have a Brownlow medalist, Coleman medalist, multiple All-Australians, a premiership, who knows? So they could take everything away this year. So I know as a Richmond supporter, you'll be, pretty nervous. You'll most likely play them in the finals, I'd say, at some stage.
Well, you'd think so. Touch wood that we still get there and we have a good finish to the year, which I'm I think we should, but I don't want to talk too soon. It's pretty arrogant of me to do so. But yeah, look, if we come up against the D's in the finals, I'll be very nervous, and because they're just such a good side, and they gave us a belting earlier in the year, so I can't rule out the possibility of them doing it to us again.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what about the Saints? They're certainly not going to be playing finals with the way they've been playing. I mean, they had their chances to beat the Swans, but they just couldn't capitalise, and Jack Higgins missed a lot of easy shots at the end.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jack Higgins. I think all the media I've seen surrounding that game was just how Jack Higgins kicked 1 goal 6 and missed a couple late, like you mentioned, that would have sealed the game. And, headlines such as Missy Higgins has been going around after because he couldn't kick straight. But yeah, look, obviously the inaccurate Saints is probably the headline that we should be looking at there. And the game was there for them to beat Sydney, who have been one of the better sides of the year. And they just let it slip due to poor kicking. And then they'll be very disappointed, St Kilda, because wins haven't been easy to come by for them so far. And they have won so close, and just to let it slip because of a bit of inaccurate kicking, they'll be real disappointed. Yeah,
absolutely. But they did look a lot better in that game compared to previous weeks. So they'll take something from that. But yeah, I mean, it's not good enough for the expectations they had on themselves, and everyone did at the start of the year. And yeah, it looks like they're probably not going to play finals. I mean, they won't play finals. It's just way too hard from here. And but did you hear? This is probably off the cuff, but did you hear about about Max King approaching Matthew Lloyd for goal kicking coaching, and then they denied it from happening? The Saints, well, they wouldn't let it happen.
I was actually just about to bring that up before you did. Then, yeah, I did hear about that. So he's reached out to Lloydie. I think it was Lloydie reckons it was probably 10 minutes after the last game he played, and had a bit of a shocker in front of goal. So he thought he reached out to one of the best of all time in front, in goal kicking, and the club's shut the idea down. I mean, the only reason I can think that they would do that is maybe because they've obviously got Jared Roughhead at the club as a goal kicking coach. They've obviously got other people there as well, and they don't want too many voices in Max King's head. But whatever they're doing, it clearly isn't working. You think you would be open to exploring these options, and how do you turn down one of the best goal kickers of all time's help?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Is it an ego thing? Is it a pride thing? I don't know. But if that's gonna help Max King become a better player, why wouldn't you do it? Doesn't matter if he's not involved with the club. Just do it.
He's got all the potential to be one of the best forwards in the game. The way he marks the footy is fantastic. It's just his accuracy that keeps letting him down. And if it's a slight technique change that he has to make, and Lloydie can help him make that, then I can't understand why they wouldn't want that to happen. Like I said, maybe the multiple voices in his ear thing, they don't want that going through his head, and at such a young age. But that's the only reason I can really think of that would stop them from letting Lloydie do his thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Perplexed by that one. But I also saw Seb Ross and Tim Embry have left their hub, or they've gone back to Victoria, so unlikely to play this week. So that's another couple of outs from their team, and just things are just getting worse for them, aren't they?
And Geary's injured as well, so
Geary hurt his shoulder.
Yeah. So like you mentioned earlier, you have to write finals off for St Kilda now, wouldn't you? I mean, you can't see them really turning it around from here, especially with people going back to Melbourne for whatever reasons have gone back. But you just, I have to write them off at this point. I can't see them turning it around from here.
Yeah, no chance. No chance. And a team that's in a similar position to them, maybe a little bit worse, is the Carlton Footy Club, who I really didn't want to talk about on this podcast, but I have a duty to do it. And we've got a special guest coming on very shortly to talk about the Blues. So may as well get it out of the way.
I've been reluctant. I've been reluctant to ask you about the Blues. I was waiting for you to slowly work it in yourself. I didn't want to push any buttons. I know you. I was intimidated is the wrong word, but I was very hesitant to message you yesterday after the loss, because I just know that you weren't too happy with it. So I'm looking forward to hearing you and Luke sort of, throw it out and vent a little bit about the game and the club in general. But yeah, obviously some worrying signs coming out of Blues at the moment, Princess Park.
Yeah, I mean, especially against a West Coast reserve sides who, in all honesty, we should have beaten quite comfortably. I mean, you'd say any other team above us would have beaten West Coast comfortably yesterday. But we were terrible, and it's the same shit every week. Same the exact same things happening. So the pressure's right on the coach now, David Teague, and be interesting to see what happens there. But we will get Luke on. We'll get him onto choice. So he's a massive Carlton supporter, and shares the same frustrations as a lot of us do. And he's not the only one. Paid up, been supporting him his whole life. So we'll see what he's got to say. And as he comes in now, connecting to Luke, have you got us?
I do, fellas. How are we?
Good, mate. How
Good,
you going?
Luke, how are you, mate?
Good. Stuck in lockdown, mate. So things could be better, but it is what it is, mate. Not too much we can do about it, unfortunately. So,
Well, what's worse? What's worse, lockdown or the Carlton Footy Club at the moment?
Carlton Footy Club by the Flemington Straight, mate. It's just like shambles in that club at the moment, mate. It is unbelievable how bad.
Give us your thoughts on what's going on there at the moment. Give us what do you reckon is the issue or issues?
Oh, geez, how much time have you got?
Take your time.
We're in lockdown as well, mate. We've got all day.
Oh, mate, it's just from watching yesterday. You look at players, that have come to the club or been given a chance, and you just wonder how and why they've been given a chance. Cottrell is just one of the most perfect examples. There was so many instances yesterday when he's running on the wing and would run over the ball or just wouldn't pick the ball up or try and kick it off the ground. West Coast had their 6 best players not playing yesterday, and they made us look ridiculous. They made us look ridiculous yesterday. It was hard to watch. Even after last week, that was worse. Yeah.
It's the thing. It's the same things every week. Like, you just know what's going to happen, don't you? You know that they're going to be close. They're going to be thereabouts, and then just do nothing in the last quarter. And Cottrell's going to do the same shit. And then that and then you see David Teague just sitting there, just plum face,
never come across a bloke that just shows no emotion for a football club. Like, you're the coach, champ. You're the coach.
I know.
Show some emotion when Eddie kicked a couple, really good goals, to sort of keep us in it. He just sat there twiddling his thumbs and bloody looking up to the sky like, oh, I'm getting paid, mate. It doesn't matter. Win, loss, I'm still going to get my paycheck at the end of the day. Reminds me of the bloody Labor government. But it's just a joke, mate. It really is. The Teague train was, everyone was on board, but mate, that's derailed now. I think him and probably Buckley are the first 2 out the door at the end of the season, I'd say.
Yeah, but then Teague goes. Who are we getting? Who's replacing him?
Well, I think the track's already been sort of laid after Teague. They haven't brought John Worsfold in for no reason. I think Clarko's probably on the way out of Hawthorn. Bring back someone that is gonna teach the club actually how to teach effort and consistency, because we just don't have any of that at the moment. And what I'm seeing is someone like Paul Roos would just be perfect. What he did with Melbourne, and look at Melbourne now. They're probably the best team in the competition at the moment. So maybe someone like Paul Roos, could be huge for the club. But yeah, it's the direction of the club. We're 20 years into a 3-year rebuild, so it's ridiculous. So.
I spoke about it with Marcus earlier, and it's probably easy to say from my point of view, but over the years, I've seen the danger and the effects of constantly rolling through different coaches and kicking them in and out. Would you be open to like the idea of, is it the people around Teague, or are you convinced that Teague is definitely the issue? Would you say if they had new people around him that maybe things would change?
Oh, look, I think the mentorship, from John Worsfold's definitely going to help, but I wonder, how much input has been, taken from John so far. You see a massive difference. You look at Simon Goodwin was on the way out this time last year, and, they got Chock from Richmond, and and now they've lost one game this year, and you can see that, Melbourne have got a bit of Richmond in them from the last couple of years in the way that they've, that they structure up behind the ball. So I think that's a huge thing that Chock Williams has definitely, been able to implement, and, and something like that would be ideal, I think, for Carlton. But it's just a matter of finding the right personnel. Obviously, we all know what Malthouse did to the club. We all know what Brendan Bolton did to the club. Obviously he drew the short end of the straw with the salary cap and those sorts of things. But, I think David Teague, he's just got to show some sort of passion and just give us something. It's hard to watch. It's like when one of those, scenes in a movie comes on and you're sitting with your parents and it's just hard to watch. It's just really awkward to watch. That's what it was like yesterday. It was
cringe.
It was just, we worked so hard to get the ball and our inside 50s, and we just couldn't convert. And then they just stroll down the other end and kick a goal. And Liam Ryan decided to do something for the first time this year. And, it's just, it was hard to watch yesterday. It was embarrassing.
The thing is, no team would ever get a more perfect opportunity to beat West Coast than yesterday.
Oh.
At the SCG, they had half their team out. Our season's on the line, like we're playing for our season. You'd think something.
Yeah.
So I don't think Teague knows how to motivate his players, and no one in that Carlton coaching group commands respect. And I don't think the players see that. And, you don't have that figure in there where players are scared, or not scared, but like they respect their coaches and they want to go out there and play for them. So I just don't see that at all. I think Teague's too nice and he's too much of a mate to him. But the thing is, assistant coaches don't get sacked halfway through the year or during the season.
Correct.
So we're gonna have to put up with this for the next 11 weeks.
Yeah, and you're dead right. I think there's a real lack of hierarchy, I feel, at the club. You see, Mark Murphy come out on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram about a week ago, being dropped from the side, and not being happy about it. And I go, well, mate, you're not in the best 22. Just because you're the previous captain and, you've been there, since the start, and you've had plenty of opportunities to leave, but you're stuck with us. At the end of the day, mate, you're not in the best 22. You're not in the best 22. Simple as that, And yesterday showed, yes, he's a good ball user, but I'll tell you what, when he gets the footy, that'd be a start. There was a few instances yesterday where, went to kick off the ground or tried to, pick it up and just run over it. And he just, mate, you've played 250 games. Like, surely you can, pick the pill up off the ground and, and use it. It was just.
Yeah, that's the thing with Murph. He's probably our best ball user, but he just doesn't get it enough at the moment, and he's too slow. You can say like he's showing his age with his pace and everything like that. Like, everyone forgets how good Murph was. Like, Murph was an unbelievable player, our best player, or the best player in the competition for a couple of years there, about 8-9 years ago. But he's just time's up, I think. But he's 5 games off 300, so they're probably cruising him to that, which is a shame, because you shouldn't be. That shouldn't be why you're playing him to get into 300.
Well, that's why Casbolt, I reckon, was getting games at the start of the season to get him to that 150, and then and then ship him off. But he's how does a bloke get a game when you can't kick? It's the first thing you learn in Auskick. It's the first thing you learn, and you just wonder, like, how does a bloke continue to get a game with just a lack of skills? Like, he's a brilliant contested mark, but sorry, that doesn't put a score on the board, unfortunately. So, I think there's a lot of tough decisions that need to be made. Give a few of the younger blokes a crack. Bring Josh Honey in. I don't know why Luke Parks didn't play yesterday. That, you should be playing Luke Parks, over a number of blokes, even if you play him on the wing, like what Nick Cox is doing for Essendon, or Archie Perkins, play him on the wing, play him up the ground, and play someone that's actually going to have a crack, rather than someone that's just going through the motions, going to get their paycheck at the end of the week, and and that'll be. But yeah, it's hard to watch at the moment. You just wonder when it's gonna turn. I'm sick of it, really. I'm sick of watching.
Yeah, you just don't know when. I was saying to Quinn before, I don't have the energy to care anymore. Like it ruins you. It ruins your bloody day and week.
Yeah.
Like you care too much about these dickheads, and they give you nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even that game against the Bulldogs, it was my bloody birthday. I thought, what if this is going to be unreal. It's going to be such a good win. Going to knock off top side. And make them look silly. And you just knew 14 points in front at 3/4 time, like we're going to lose by 5 goals here. You could just see us getting run down. And I'll tell you what, that was hard. Like that was tough to watch. But the last 2 weeks, you just wonder, are people within the club actually invested? You just wonder what's going on. But it all stems from the top, I guess. The president's gone at the end of the year. Juddy's taken off from the board. It might be time just to clean out top down and then go again. But bloody hell, how many rebuilds do the supporters need to go through until we see some success? It's you look at teams like Sydney, who they were a shambles last year, and now they're a top 8 side within 12 months. It just doesn't make sense. Why do Carlton get it so wrong? And, a lot of the other teams get it so right. Like you see Hawthorn, they're going to be an unbelievable side again in the next couple of years with their young talent. And you just look at Carlton's list and you go, what do we have, really?
Yeah. It's the development. We've got all the development wrong, because you can't blame no draft picks, because we've had them all. They're just not developing them right. Culture's not right, clearly. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
Something's going to have to happen. It's going to have to be like what a Richmond did, or like what a Geelong did, and have that like real tough off season where you have a few home truths and do what you have to do. I mean, Quinn can talk about Richmond when you guys went through that, and then you all of a sudden just turned it around, didn't you?
Yeah, it was after that 2016 season where we finished 13th on the ladder. We had 3 finals appearances in a row. We didn't win any of them. Obviously, you guys remember 2013 quite clearly, but we didn't win any of them. We just sort of had no direction. And then obviously, there was that pretty honest off season in 2016 where all the players just sort of, everything that came out, and we had some new people come in assistant coach wise, and the energy might be the wrong word, but I guess the vibe around the club just sort of changed completely, and it just showed on field as well. So maybe something like that does need to happen down at Princess Park. I mean, it's hard to pick the answer, especially from an outsider's point of view. You guys know your list and your coaches and everything better than anybody. So, but I think maybe that is something that needs to happen in the off season.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. All right. Well, what we do for every guest, Luke, we ask them a few questions. It's called the pressure cooker. We'll ask you a few questions about things you're not prepared for it. So, right. And we'll see what you come up with. All right. So I'll kick us off. If you had to delist one player in your team, who would it be?
Delist a player. Gee whiz. I'd probably delist Levi Casbolt. Yeah, out the door, champ.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I thought that might be the one you went with. Now, on the other hand, if you could add one player from another list, who would it be?
I need a grunt player, or just a genuine ball user. So I'd probably be targeting Zach Merritt in the off season.
Yeah, good call.
Josh Kelly as well.
Yeah, definitely need another A grader.
Kelly's a good one.
That's for sure. Yeah. Which team do you love beating the most?
Oh, Essendon. Not even a question,
it's an easy one, isn't it?
I'm glad we're all in agreement.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing better. I'd rather beat Essendon a point than 100 points. It's so much sweeter.
That's the good thing to come out of this season is that we beat Essendon only a few weeks ago.
Oh, mate. I'm happy to lose the rest of the games of the season. As long as we beat them, mate, I'm happy.
I I was watching Dreamtime the other night with Elisa, and I've never seen a Carlton supporter cheer for Richmond so hard, especially in that last quarter when it got close, just to see Essendon lose. It was, the passion to see Essendon lose was unrivaled. So,
Absolutely.
We'll go to the last question, the most controversial. Who's your favorite Pressure Point co-host?
Oh, gee whiz. This is this definitely, that puts you on the spot. But I'll tell you what, you're both champions. But geez, Marcus is my cousin, mate. I can't go past him, can I? So
I had a feeling this week.
We've we've had plenty of good times, me and Squats, that's for sure.
Squats.
So it's fantastic what you guys are doing. I've tune in as much as I can, and it's fantastic. You guys are doing a great job here, so all credit to you.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate the support.
Yeah,
no drama.
Appreciate you coming on too, mate, and hope you can spend your lockdown wisely and try not to. Let's try and move on from the Blues now, otherwise it's going to make it a lot worse. So, but no, appreciate you coming on, mate, and we'll have to have you on again soon.
Yeah, no dramas at all. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, mate. Jeez, talk about passion.
That was good. It's everything I expected that was.
I actually wanted to ask him, but I didn't think of it till just now. I was watching, it's a good one for you as well, though. I was watching the Blue Abroad fan cams last night. Our good mate Terry there who runs those. And for those who watch Blue Abroad, you'll all be aware of a man named Rocco. And he came on the show at one point last night, and he said something that resonated with me. I thought it was pretty funny, and I want to ask you this. He goes, watching games of Carlton now have become like going to your kids' play. He goes, you don't want to go. You know they're going to be shit, but you'll go anyway. Is that pretty much how you feel for the rest of the year? Or because I know a few Carlton supporters have said they're just done for the season. Are you in that boat, or are you're still going to put yourself through it and still support because it's just what you know?
No, to be honest, I didn't really watch the second half yesterday. I was trying anything I could not to watch it. Like, obviously, I love the club, but like you just. The torment you go through, it's just not worth it. I hate how I feel after every Carlton game. So I just can't do it. And you can say, oh, you got to be loyal, but I've been loyal for 28 years, mate. So don't even question me about loyalty. I'm a paid up member for 25 years. So if I don't want to watch them now, it's fair enough. And I think every Carlton supporter is in that same bracket. Like enough. It's enough. Enough is enough. Like, we can't just keep going through this shit anymore because it's not healthy. Because we put so much time, effort, and money into the club, and just getting nothing back in return.
Yeah, I've known you for close to 4 years now, and your loyalty to the club is something that can't be questioned. So if you need to give yourself a bit of a break and miss a couple of games, you definitely can't fault you for that. So
yeah, I mean, lockdown's probably come at a good time, which means we don't have to go to the games, or we at least don't have the choice to. But I know it's going to be a long 11 or so weeks, whatever's left of the season, if we keep dishing up this sort of stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, told you before the podcast, I didn't really want to talk about Carlton, and I reckon we spent about half an hour on them. So we should probably move on, shouldn't we?
Absolutely. I think our listens and views might go down a little bit this week, and probably the Carlton supporters will be tuning in, but needed to happen.
Yeah, I feel a bit better from it. So I'm glad we did it. Another talking point's come out from the weekend, though, is that the bye round has mixed it up, has been changed a bit. We've got West Coast and Richmond being pushed back. So Richmond's bye isn't going to be till 2 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. So it was supposed to be this weekend. West Coast and Richmond both had a bye, but we're playing instead this Sunday night at Optus Oval, and the game has been pushed back the bye has been pushed back to next week. Yeah,
that's right. So
to COVID reasons, obviously.
Yeah. So you guys still stay in the hub, and then you're coming home after the hub. Is that correct, or after the West Coast game?
I would presume so. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not 100. I don't think anybody's 100% what's happening yet. But Richmond have gone back to Sydney, so we haven't stayed in WA.
Oh,
So we've
right.
actually gone back to so we've gone back to Sydney because I could be wrong, but I believe that if we were to stay in WA, it was going to be a hard quarantine where we couldn't leave the hotel. So essentially no training, no fresh air or anything like that. So they've flown back to Sydney for quarantine reasons so they can still train, do everything as normal, and then they'll fly back up Saturday afternoon, I believe, before the game. So which will be a Sunday night, which I'm actually enjoying the Sunday night games. I had one last night, Freo Bulldogs, which ended up being a pretty good game, apart from the last probably 15 minutes where Bulldogs blew the game open. But the Sunday night games are great because no one's realistically doing much on a Sunday night, and it's good to have footy on. You know, it starts at about 7:30, same as every other Friday and Saturday night. So I'm enjoying it. So I think it'll be a good time to have the game.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good to have a quality game like West Coast and Richmond. I mean, it's usually like a Freo game or like Port Adelaide against a lower team. So it's always like a pretty one-sided game. So it'd be good to have like a quality matchup on that in that time slot because they're usually pretty average, aren't they?
Yeah, the Sunday afternoon games are usually the quite average ones, but it's it should be a good fixture, and hopefully, you don't hope injuries upon anybody, but hopefully West Coast, a few of their injuries can stay injured just for this week and get them back after the bye, just make the job a little bit easier for us over there. But but obviously if in WA as well, it's a twilight game because they're a couple of hours behind, I believe. So they got a few more extra hours of daylight than we do, so that's why it's a bit later. But for us in Melbourne, it works out beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's move on to the round 13 games. Round 13 already, crazy. It's the second week of the buys, but we're back to Thursday night footy, which is great. It's been just Friday nights for the last couple of months at least. It's been a while since we've had a Thursday night game, so it's going to be good. We've got Port Adelaide and Geelong from the Adelaide Oval, which would be a ripping contest.
Absolutely. This is a great game to start off the week with. And like you mentioned before, I think the rolling fixtures have been good because you're able to put these marquee games in the best time slots. So Port Adelaide, Geelong, can't think of a better example. Adelaide Oval. Geez, it's going to be a tough contest. You'd think Port will get the job done purely for the Adelaide Oval advantage. It's a fortress over there for them, but it really could go either way. Geelong have been playing pretty good footy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both coming off bye. Yeah. So, it's going to be a ripping contest, and but you got to lean towards Port Adelaide just because it's at the Adelaide Oval. I'd say that's the only reason why I'd pick Port.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they've got a good side as well, obviously, but the Adelaide Oval advantage, home ground advantage, just makes them too strong, I think. So they'll get the job done.
Yeah. Friday night we've got Sydney and Hawthorn at the SCG. Surprising Friday night game, this one. Not sure how Hawthorn snared that.
I guess there's been a bit of a rivalry between Sydney and Hawthorn in recent years, but I guess where Sydney is sitting at the moment compared to where Hawthorn is sitting, it is a surprising one. Hopefully Hawthorn can put on a bit of a show just, because of the rivalry, and it might fire them up a little bit, but geez, you can't see Sydney losing, not at the SCG.
No, they've been in great form, and looks like they're going to play finals as well. So, Sydney quite comfortably there for me. Saturday afternoon, we've got Freo and the Gold Coast at Optus Stadium. Freo are very good at home. They got rolled by the Dogs on the weekend, but the Dogs are a great team. But it's hard to not tip against Freo here, is it?
Oh, you can't tip against Freo. I was watching the game last night, and they were right in the game up to the last quarter, like I mentioned earlier, where the Bulldogs' experience and I guess seniority just sort of blew them out of the water a little bit. Fife went down, which never helps, but they're in great shape, especially at Optus Oval, and Gold Coast haven't shown a whole lot recently. So for me, Freo definitely. Yeah,
me too. Saturday night we've got St Kilda and Adelaide. It's fixtured for Kazali Stadium in Cairns, but huge chance that it might be shifted away due to what's going on. So there's talk of it staying in Sydney, or there's talk of it because I think Queensland have different restrictions to New South Wales, so it might be harder for them to get up there. But and it's going to be a tough game to pick, no matter where it is, especially being at a neutral ground. It's going to be a real tough game.
Exactly right. And time will tell in terms of location, but it will be a tough game. The Saints will be I better say fuming, but they'll be filthy and fuming, I guess, after their loss last week in such a tight contest. And Adelaide probably, they've shown some really good signs this year, and they've played good footy away from home as well. So it's really anybody's game. I'm going to go Adelaide just because I like what I've seen from them a little bit more. They've been able to get the job done away from home as well. I mean, even up at Giant Stadium against the Tigers a couple of weeks ago, Richmond got the job done quite comfortably in the end, but they gave us a real push in that last quarter. So they can stick right in games, especially against some good sides. And St Kilda haven't shown enough to convince me they'll get it done easily. But I'm going to go Adelaide, go a bit of the outlier here, the underdog.
Yeah. I'm going to go the Crom as well. I think their form's been great. Sunday, Arvo, we've got North Melbourne and GWS at Bloodstone Arena in Tassie. The Kangas back in their spiritual home, which I'm sure some of the supporters would probably hate me saying that.
Could become their real home soon if they keep up the form they've had in recent years. But I feel like North tend to play pretty good footy down at Tassie as well. So they'll be pretty excited for the opportunity to come up against a good Giants side that are, they've been in good form lately. So good opportunity for North Melbourne. I still think the Giants are going to be too strong. Doesn't matter where they play. I think the Giants will get the job done comfortably, but who knows? Hopefully North can try and, put on a bit of a show down in Tassie and, make something happen. But yeah, for me, Giants.
Yeah, no, I can't see North winning that. I think Giants will be too strong coming off the bye as well. And then as we spoke about, we've got West Coast and Richmond that night at Optus Stadium. It's going to be a good, depleted West Coast team. I think Richmond are going to show Carlton how to beat an injury ravaged team. And I think you guys will win it quite comfortably given your form of late.
Well, touch wood, I think we will as well. But yeah, touch wood, we can get the job done over there. They've got some key injuries, which hopefully will work in our benefit. I know McGovern's out, which will help our forwards as well, especially with the younger guys like Coleman Jones, who might have a bit of an easier time with McGovern out of the side. But yeah, I'm thinking Richmond will get the job done over there. We played pretty well. We played pretty well on that ground, and we showed that on the weekend on Dreamtime. So yeah, for me, Tigers as well.
Yeah. All right, and the last game is the Queen's Birthday Clash on Monday, Arvo. It's been moved from the MCG to the SCG due to COVID in Melbourne. This could be the season where usually Collingwood have dominated this fixture, but hard to mount a case for them. I mean, they got a good win on the weekend, but Melbourne's form has just been incredible as we spoke about earlier. So I think the D's will win this quite comfortably.
Yeah, I don't give Collingwood any chance. Unless they do what Adelaide did a few weeks ago and pull one out of the bag against Melbourne, I don't give them much chance at all. And like you said, Melbourne will get this one done quite comfortably. And the big freeze will still be going ahead as well. The slide's still going to happen at the MCG with no crowd, so that'll still be televised and all that at the G, whilst the game is played at the SCG, which is something different. But obviously COVID is thrown everything into a bit of a mess at the moment, but they're still finding a way to do it, and great cause. So if you can get yourself a beanie as well, make sure you jump on board.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great. We absolutely love what Neil Danaher's doing. He's an absolute warrior, and doing great things for the community. So get your beanie and donate to it. It'll be a great day. But yeah, that's us. That's us done for another episode. I feel like they're getting tougher and tougher, personally, anyway. But it was good to vent with a fellow Carlton supporter today, which was nice for a change. But it's been another good one. There's plenty to talk about. The footy was going mad with all this COVID stuff, and with what's happening recently in Melbourne as well over the last couple of days, it doesn't look like it's slowing down either. So this could be the moving of fixtures and everything could go on for a bit longer. So, but we'll see how it plays out. But there's always plenty going on, isn't there?
Absolutely, there is. It keeps us on our toes, which is a good thing. And then footy, you can't really kill footy. It never dies footy, so it'll always be around, which is a good thing no matter where it's played. So as long as we can watch it on our telly, things are still looking positive in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll thank our sponsors. We've got Retrojet Prints, Go Ends.
Woo. And then we've obviously got Million Mar as well. So some gift boxes there. So if you're looking to give someone a present in lockdown and you can't see them at the moment, go into Million Mar and shoot them over a nice gift box from them. Yeah,
absolutely. And then as we say every week, make sure you leave us a review. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Means the world to us. So yeah, keep the reviews coming in. It helps us produce the show and make it better and get people on as well. So keep them coming through and enjoy. Try to enjoy lockdown as much as possible for those living in Victoria. And we'll talk about round 13 next week.